Hey, Cub fans! Thanks for joining us here on Cubs 24/7, where Randy talks Cubs. We're going to do a little bit of a scouting report on the Seattle Mariners. Cubs open up a three-game weekend series with them on Friday night, and this needs to happen in Seattle. And I'm talking about two as a minimum, but we really need to sweep the Mariners. Coming off what just happened, if we are who we think we are, I think a sweep is what we need to be looking for. That's the goal. But definitely two as a minimum. And I spent some time looking at the Mariners, watched several of their condensed games, some highlights, and ran the numbers. And me saying we should take three games, two minimum, is not just me being, a Cub fan. That's what we should do. If we don't win two, at least it was a major failure. And here's why. Let's talk about what we know about the Mariners. They're 5-8, 3-7 in their last 10. They are below 500 at home at 3-4. They are averaging 3.2 runs per game and allowing 4.85 per game. So their run differential is at 21. They are currently in third place in the American League West. Team hitting, as a team, they're hitting 207. By contrast, the Cubs are hitting 252. They have a 278 on base percentage as a team. Cubs are at 351. They're slugging as a team 324. Cubs slugging percentage is 416. Mariner team OPS is 602. Cub OPS is 767. So from an offensive production perspective, we clearly have the advantage. So let's talk about the lineups for the Mariners. Here's some names that you may not be familiar with, and I'll give them to you in the order that I think we can expect. Shortstop J.P. Crawford, right-handed hitting. He has 50 at-bats, 7 hits. His slash line is 140, 232 on base, 260 slug for a 492 OPS. He's walked 5 times and struck out 11. So that's leadoff man shortstop J.P. Crawford. Hitting second, in the first 5 or 6, sort of like most teams, first through maybe 6 or 7, same guys. They may flip them depending on pitchers. But in the second hole is Julio Rodriguez, center fielder. He's a right-hand hitter. 51 at bats, and that leads the team. 51 at bats is the lead. He has 10 hits. His slash is not much better than J.P. Crawford's. He's hitting under 200. He's hitting 196 with a 255 on base, 216 slug. His OPS is 471. So that's the first two. We've got Jorge Polanco playing second base, hitting in the 3-hole. Jorge is a switch hitter. He's got 48 at bats, 8 hits. He too is hitting under 200, 167 with a 259 on base, 229 slug for a 488 OPS. So first 3 hitters, Crawford, Rodriguez, Polanco, are all hitting under 200, and in 2 cases well under. They all have sub 5 OPSs. On base percentages, highest is at 259. So it is what it is. That's what the numbers say. So it gets a little better starting with Ty France, first baseman, right-handed hitter, 38 at bats. He got 12 hits. He's hitting over 300. He's at 316 with a 350 on base and a 368 slug. OPS is 718. He struck out 10 times, walked 2. Right-handed hitting Ty France. In right field is probably, to me, their most productive hitter. Mitch Haniger. He leads them in on-base percentage, slug, OPS. Right-handed hitter, right fielder, 42 at-bats, 11 hits. He's hitting 262, 354 on base with a 452 slug. His OPS is over 8 at 806. So 806 is their highest OPS. Mitch Haniger has walked 6 times and struck out 10. Next, we've got catcher/DH Mitch Garver, a right-hander, 36 at-bats, 6 hits. He's under 200. 167 average, 225 on base, 250 slug, OPS 475. Walked twice, struck out 12 times. Cal Raleigh, pitcher, switch hitter. I said pitcher. Catcher, switch hitter, Cal Raleigh, 36 at-bats, 7 hits, under 200 average at 194, 256 on base, 361 slug, OPS 617. Left fielder Dominic Canzone, he's a left-handed hitter, 30 at-bats, 7 hits, 233 average, 303 on base, pretty good slug, 567 with an 870 OPS, and he leads the team in home runs with 3, 11 strikeouts and 3 walks for Dominic Canzone. Third baseman Josh Rojas, another lefty, 25 at-bats. He's got 9 hits. He's hitting 360, 385 on base and a 400 slug, 785 OPS. Walked once, struck out 6. I mentioned earlier that Mitch Haniger leads the team in their OPS, but Canzone has an 870, which is higher, but he doesn't have enough at-bats to qualify for the lead. So that's the way I presented it. We got Dylan Moore. He's a right-handed hitter, outfielder, 19 at-bats, 4 hits, hitting 211 with a 375 on base and a 421 slug for a 796 OPS, part-time player. A couple other part-time players that we probably can look for is Luis Urias and Luke Raley, but they have similar numbers to what Dylan Moore has, so nothing really of note there. So, big picture, as a team, they're hitting 207 with a 278 on base. Top 3 guys, but low on base. It's really. I had to look at it more than once to see what am I missing? Am I getting this right? And it is what it is. So that's where we are. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pitchers. I think maybe the good news in it for us is we're going to miss who I consider to be the ace, even though they list in their depth chart Luis Castillo as their number 1. What I saw is Logan Gilbert, to me, is their best pitcher. I watched several of his innings. He's got a sub-1 whip of .84 with a 2.66 ERA. So we miss him. And George Kirby, I think, would be like their number 2, and we miss him. So if I wasn't looking at the depth chart, I would say we're missing their 1 and 2. We got 3, 4, and 5 coming. So, and the depth chart has the 4 and 5 the way I would see it with Luis Castillo. So let's go ahead and start at the top. On Friday, we're going to get Bryce Miller opposing Jordan Wicks. Bryce is 6'2", 200 pounds. He's a righty. They're all right-handed pitchers this weekend. Bryce Miller has a 3.00 ERA even. He's thrown 12 innings total, given up 9 hits, 4 runs, walked 3, struck out 13. So he's a strikeout guy, 13 Ks in 12 innings. His whip is good. It's at 1.0 even, and his average against is good at 205. So Bryce Miller, good numbers, formidable. On Saturday, we're going to get Emerson Hancock, another righty, 6'4", 213. He's got an 11.42 ERA, 8 2/3 innings, giving up 15 hits, 11 earned runs, walked 2, struck out 7. His whip is just under 2 at 1.96. Average against is 3.85. So those are some numbers that I would describe as bloated. And then on Sunday, we got Luis Castillo, and probably many of us are familiar with Luis, veteran, right-hand pitcher, 6'2", 200. The 6.89 ERA in 15 2/3 innings. He's given up 25 hits, 12 earned runs, walked 4, and struck out 18. So he's still getting strikeouts. 1.85 whip, average against 352. So kind of another robust line. So there's nothing here that I guess my point is it doesn't look like Dylan Cease is in the rotation for the weekend. So that makes me feel better. I think we should be able to handle the starting pitchers. Again, Wicks against Bryce Miller on Friday night, Shota against Emerson Hancock on Saturday. And as of the time I'm doing this, I just checked that they have not listed Assad as the starter on Sunday against Castillo. I'm just assuming that would be it based on rotation numbers, but I don't know for sure. So let's do the relievers. We'll talk about 4 of them. Closer is Andres Munoz, right-hander, 6'2", 222. He's got 2 saves, thrown 5 innings total, 3.6 ERA. He's given up 2 hits, 2 earned runs, walked 5, and struck out 6. So maybe have a little bit of a command issue. I'd say their setup guy would probably be Ryan Stanek, at least the right-handed setup guy. He's 6'4", 226. He's thrown 4 in a third inning, ERA good at just 2.08. And the left-handed setup guy, Gabe Spire, 5'11", he's got 3 holds. So it looks like he might be their left-handed late inning guy. 3 2/3 innings, 2 walks, 6 Ks. And the other lefty that they bring out of the pen, Taylor Saucedo, 6'4", 205. He's thrown 5 in a third inning, struck out 6, just walked 2. He's got kind of a funky low arm slot delivery, Taylor Saucedo. So, guys, that's a look. I watched them, and there's nothing there that we shouldn't handle. I'm really firm. 2 is a minimum. If we come out of there losing 2 or more, we might have to reassess our situation. But I like our opportunity here. It'd be great if we can go in there and sweep this. We're more than capable. We've got Wicks and Shota and probably Assad lined up. We've got our hitters should be able to handle the Mariner pitching staff. So there's no reason that we shouldn't be highly optimistic and go in there with a goal of a sweep this weekend. So we'll have to see what happens. All right, that's the Mariners. I hope that helps. It did me. I know what I'm looking for now. So thanks for joining us here on Cubs 24/7, where Randy talks Cubs. And we'll go up to Seattle and get started here on Friday night. Go Cubs, go.